I had rehearsed this moment 100 times in my head, walking through those glass doors, running my fingers along the polished hood of that midnight blue SUV I'd been watching online for months, imagining the smell of new leather, the weight of the keys in my palm, the satisfaction of finally having something that was mine, something I'd earned. The California morning was perfect. 72 degrees, cloudless sky, the kind of day that makes you believe good things are possible. I pushed through the entrance of Premier Automotive Group at exactly 10:15. I'd chosen Tuesday because the forum said weekday mornings were less crowded, better chance for actual attention, real conversation. The showroom took my breath away. Sunlight poured through floor-to-ceiling windows, catching every chrome detail, every perfect curve. The vehicles looked like sculptures, art pieces worth more than most people's homes. Classical piano floated through speakers I couldn't see. Even the air smelled expensive. Leather and something else. Success, maybe. Or exclusivity. My heart was hammering. Not from nervousness. From excitement. From the culmination of 18 months of sacrifice. Of working 70-hour weeks. Of skipping dinners out with friends. Of saying no to vacations. To new clothes. To everything except the goal. Today was supposed to be my reward. A young man approached from the left. Mid-20s. Clean-cut. Wearing a name tag that read, Rebecca Martinez, sales associate. His smile seemed genuine. Good morning, welcome to Premier. Are you looking for something specific today? The midnight blue Explorer. The one with the Rebecca. The name cracked across the showroom like a whip. The young salesman's face changed instantly. The warmth vanished. He took a step back, almost involuntarily, his eyes darting past my shoulder. I'll take this one, the voice said. I turned. The man striding toward us wore a suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Charcoal gray, perfectly tailored. His hair was styled with that deliberately casual look that takes 30 minutes and expensive product to achieve. A watch caught the light on his wrist. Rolex, most likely. Maybe Patek Philippe. His name tag identified him as Brandon Mitchell, sales manager. But it was his face that made my stomach tighten. That expression I'd seen too many times before. The quick assessment. The eyes sweeping from my discount sneakers to my Target jeans, to my plain jacket. The calculation happening behind his smile. The smile that said, I've already decided who you are. Rebecca hesitated. For just a second, I saw something in his eyes. Sympathy, maybe. Or recognition. But then Brandon was there, filling the space between us, and Rebecca stepped away without another word. So, Brandon said, turning to me with that smile that never reached his eyes. What brings you into Premier today? Just browsing our collection. The condescension was subtle. Most people probably wouldn't even notice it, but I'd spent 6 years in finance. I knew every shade of dismissal that existed. Actually, I'm here to purchase a vehicle. I've been researching your inventory online, and I'm specifically interested in… He nodded, but his eyes had already glazed over. He wasn't listening. He was performing. Right. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, but I should let you know that our vehicles here, they start around $85,000. The Explorer you mentioned? That particular model runs about $123,000, fully loaded. He said it the way you'd tell a child that the toy they want is too expensive. Gentle, patronizing, final. I understand the pricing, I said. My voice was steady, calm. I've done extensive research on… Have you, though? His smile widened. He leaned against the Explorer. My Explorer. The one I'd been dreaming about. Because, and I mean no offense here, but you look like you just came from, I don't know, maybe a Walmart run? Target, perhaps? He chuckled, pleased with himself. The showroom had started to notice. I could feel eyes turning our direction. Other staff members pausing mid-conversation. A couple near the financing office stopped walking. Heat crawled up my neck. Not embarrassment. Something hotter, sharper. Brandon pulled out his phone. Casual, confident. Tell you what, he said, his voice carrying across the marble floor. I'm feeling generous today. You show me your banking app right now, prove you've got $10 in your account, and I'll write you a check for my entire month's salary. Hell, I'll throw in the keys to this car right here. He laughed. Loud, performative, making sure everyone could hear. Come on, pull out your phone. Show me that $10 and we'll talk about getting you into a vehicle today. The classical music suddenly felt too loud, the sunlight too bright. Every sound in the showroom amplified. The hum of the air conditioning, the distant ring of a phone, the rustle of someone's jacket. I could feel my phone in my pocket. Heavy, solid. The banking app was right there. One click. 15 seconds. I could show him the account, the carefully accumulated deposits, the proof. $53,247. Enough for a substantial down payment. Enough to walk out with the car today. I could watch his face change. Watch that smug smile collapse. Watch him realize exactly how wrong he was. My fingers twitched toward my pocket, but something stopped me. Something cold and hard settling in my chest like ice water. I looked at him. Really looked at him. At the absolute certainty in his eyes. The conviction that he had me figured out. That he knew exactly what I was worth based on my shoes and my jeans and my lack of designer labels. The assumption that people like him got to decide the value of people like me. No, I said. The word came out quiet, firm. Brandon blinked. What? I said no. I held his gaze. I don't owe you proof of anything. For just a second, something flickered across his face. Confusion, maybe. Or the first hint that this wasn't going the way he'd expected. But then his smile returned. Harder now. Colder. Well then. He straightened up, adjusting his tie with deliberate precision. I think we're done here. Rebecca, please escort this woman to the exit. The young salesman reappeared. He looked miserable. His hands twisted together. Ma'am, I'm really sorry, but if you could... It's fine, I said. I turned. The walk to those glass doors felt impossibly long. Every eye in the showroom on my back. Every whispered conversation piercing through the classical piano. Behind me, Brandon's voice carried across the marble. Some people just don't understand their place, you know. Can't afford to window shop at a luxury dealership. We've got real customers to attend to. Scattered laughter. Uncomfortable, but laughter nonetheless. The glass doors closed behind me with a soft pneumatic hiss. I stood in the parking lot. The California sun suddenly too bright, too hot. My old Honda Civic sat 3 rows back. 10 years old. Reliable. Paid off. Nothing wrong with it except that it wasn't what I'd saved for. What I'd earned. My hands were shaking. Not from shame. From something else entirely. Something that felt like cold fire spreading through my veins. Something that felt like absolute clarity. I got in my car, sat there with my hands on the steering wheel, breathing, thinking. Then I pulled out my phone, not to check my bank account. I didn't need to see that number to know what I was worth. I opened my email instead, scrolled to a message I'd received 3 weeks ago, read it again, just to be certain. Then I started making calls. My first call was to James. He answered on the second ring. Sarah, everything okay? I need a favor, I said. My voice was perfectly steady now, perfectly calm, and I need you to trust me on this. There was a pause. Then, what do you need? I told him. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Are you sure about this? He finally asked. Completely. You could just buy the car somewhere else. Move on. Never think about this place again. I know, but you're not going to do that. No, I'm not. Another pause. Then I heard the smile in his voice. All right then. When? 3 days from now. Can you make it? I'll clear my schedule. I hung up, made 2 more calls, sent 4 emails. Then I sat in my 10-year-old Honda Civic in the parking lot of Premier Automotive Group and smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It wasn't vengeful either. It was something colder, something patient, something that understood that the best lessons are the ones people never see coming. I started the engine and drove away, leaving that gleaming showroom in my rearview mirror. But I'd be back. Oh, I'd definitely be back. I spent 20 minutes in that parking lot. Engine off, windows down, just breathing. The anger would have been easier. Screaming, crying, posting a furious review online. That's what Brandon probably expected. What he was used to. People getting emotional, making a scene, then disappearing into irrelevance. But I'd learned a long time ago that anger makes noise. Silence makes impact. I pulled out my phone and opened the email I'd read 100 times since receiving it. The subject line alone made my chest tight. Congratulations on your promotion. James Chen had sent it 3 weeks ago. Chief Investment Officer, Managing Partner, a title that came with responsibility for $2.3 billion in assets. 6 years of 80-hour weeks, of proving myself in every meeting, of being the smartest person in rooms that didn't want me there. I'd earned this. And today, some man in an expensive suit had looked at my clothes and decided I was worth nothing. I made my first call. Sarah, James answered immediately. His voice carried that particular calm that came from decades of high-stakes negotiations. Everything okay? I need a favor, and I need you to trust me on this. 3 days later, I returned to Premier Automotive Group. Same jeans, same sweater, same Target jacket and discount sneakers. But this time, James Chen walked beside me. He'd argued against coming himself, offered to send an assistant, make a phone call, handle it from a distance. But I'd been insistent. Some lessons need to be delivered in person. James wore a navy suit that probably cost more than Brandon's monthly salary. His silver hair was perfectly styled. At 58, he carried himself with the quiet authority of someone who'd built empires and toppled them just as easily. "You're absolutely certain about this?" he asked as we approached the glass doors. "I've never been more certain of anything." He studied my face for a long moment, then nodded. "All right, let's go teach some people about assumptions." The showroom looked exactly the same. Same classical piano, same gleaming vehicles, same air of exclusivity. But this time, heads turned differently. James Chen wasn't just wealthy. He was Forbes cover wealthy, Business Week profile wealthy. The kind of wealthy that made sales managers straighten their ties and practice their smiles. I spotted Brandon near the back with another couple. Young, well-dressed, exactly the kind of customers he preferred. When he saw me, his face went through a fascinating progression. Confusion, recognition, irritation. He excused himself from the couple and headed our direction. That same smile already forming. "Ma'am, I thought I made it very clear last time that—" "Mr. Mitchell," James interrupted smoothly. His voice was pleasant, conversational, lethal. "I'm James Chen. I believe you've already met my Chief Investment Officer, Ms. Sarah Morrison." The words hung in the air. Brandon's face went blank, completely blank, like someone had unplugged him. "You're what?" he managed. "Chief Investment Officer." James let the title sit there. "Ms. Morrison oversees my personal portfolio and manages investments for our top-tier clients. She handles approximately $2.3 billion in assets." He paused, just long enough. "She also happens to be in the market for a vehicle today." The color drained from Brandon's face in real time. I watched it happen. Watched the exact moment he understood what he'd done. "I didn't realize," he started. His voice had lost all its confidence. "Ma'am, I sincerely apologize if there was any misunderstanding." "Any misunderstanding?" I kept my voice level, calm. "Is that what we're calling it?" Other staff members had started gathering, pretending to work but clearly listening, including a woman in a sharp business suit standing near the manager's office. Her expression was very, very still. "Mr. Mitchell," James continued, pulling out his phone with theatrical precision. "Ms. Morrison came here 3 days ago prepared to purchase 3 vehicles. 1 for herself, 2 for company executives, approximately $400,000 in sales." He let that number breathe, past tense being the operative word here. Brandon's mouth opened. No sound came out. "Additionally," James said, scrolling through his phone, "I was considering a fleet purchase for Chen Enterprises. 75 luxury vehicles for senior management. Your dealership was actually my first choice." He looked up, met Brandon's eyes. Was being the operative word there as well. "Sir, please." Brandon's voice cracked slightly. "Let me make this right. I've just sent an email to your competitor across town." James showed him the screen. "Mercedes of Beverly Hills. They'll be absolutely thrilled with the business, I'm sure." The woman in the business suit was walking toward us now. Fast. Her heels clicked sharply against the marble. "Mr. Chen." She extended her hand. "Diana Foster, General Manager. I cannot begin to apologize for—" "Don't apologize to me," James said quietly. "Apologize to her." Diana turned to me. Her face was professionally composed, but I could see the panic in her eyes, the mental calculation of exactly how much money was evaporating in real time. "Ms. Morrison, on behalf of Premier Automotive Group, I want to—" "Save it," I said. My voice was calm, almost gentle, but something in my tone made her stop mid-sentence, made everyone in earshot stop moving. I turned to Brandon. He looked smaller now, diminished. Sweat beaded at his hairline despite the air conditioning. "You asked me if I had $10, I said. "You offered me your salary if I could prove it. Made quite a show of it, actually. Ms. Morrison, please." he whispered. "I'm not interested in your salary." I held his gaze. "Or your apologies. Or whatever excuse you're about to offer." The showroom had gone completely silent. Even the classical piano seemed quieter. "I came here 3 days ago ready to spend my money. Money I earned through years of work you'll never understand. I was treated like garbage because of how I was dressed. Because you decided, in 30 seconds, that you knew everything about me." I could see other customers watching now. Staff members frozen in place. Rebecca, the young salesman, standing near the SUVs with something like awe on his face. "That tells me everything I need to know about what you value here." Diana opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. "Please, Ms. Morrison, let me make this right. We're done here," I said. I turned and walked toward those glass doors, toward the California sunlight, toward my 10-year-old Honda Civic. Behind me, I heard James say quietly, almost conversationally, "I'll also be posting detailed reviews on every luxury automotive forum I'm part of, just so other potential buyers know exactly what kind of environment they're walking into." The glass doors closed behind us, and I smiled. The video appeared online 48 hours later. I was in my office reviewing quarterly reports when my phone started buzzing. Then it didn't stop. Someone had recorded everything. Both visits. The footage was crystal clear. Brandon's voice echoed through my speakers. "If you've got $10 in your bank account right now, I'll give you my entire month's salary." His laugh. That performative, cruel laugh. Then the second video. His face draining of color. The exact moment he realized who I was. The views climbed exponentially. 10,000, 50,000, 200,000. By evening, it had hit 1 million. The headlines wrote themselves. "Luxury car manager, mocks customer, loses 5 million in sales. Billionaire investor cancels. Fleet purchase after associate humiliated. If you have $10, manager's cruel joke backfires spectacularly." The comments section became a confessional. Thousands of people sharing their own stories. Being dismissed at high-end stores, judged in restaurants, treated like nothing because of their appearance. I didn't look pretty enough for them to take my money. They literally laughed at me when I asked about financing. I was wearing scrubs from my nursing shift and they asked me to leave. My assistant knocked softly. "Sarah, you need to see this." She showed me her tablet. News outlets, morning shows, financial blogs. Everyone was covering it. My phone rang. "James, have you seen the news? I'm watching it now. Premier's corporate office just issued a statement." He paused. "Brandon Mitchell was terminated this morning." I didn't say anything. "Diana Foster wants to meet with you. Personally. She's talking about policy changes, cultural review, mandatory training for all staff." "Good," I said simply. "Sarah," he said carefully, "how do you feel about all this?" I looked out my office window. Downtown Los Angeles stretched below me. Millions of people, millions of stories, millions of moments where someone decided someone else's worth based on nothing but appearance. I feel like maybe one person will think twice before treating someone like garbage. If this story meant something to you, I want to hear about it. Have you ever been judged before you even opened your mouth? Dismissed because someone decided they knew your worth at a glance? Share your experience in the comments below. And if you believe respect should be universal, not conditional, subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that their value isn't determined by someone else's narrow mind. Because here's what I learned. Silence isn't weakness. Sometimes it's the most powerful weapon you have. 3 days after the video went viral, I bought my car. Not from Premier, not even from their competitor who'd been so eager for James's business. From a small family-owned dealership 40 miles outside the city. The kind of place with older vehicles on the lot and coffee in styrofoam cups. The owner was a woman named Patricia, mid-60s. Silver hair pulled back, calloused hands from years of working on engines herself. She looked at me when I walked in. Really looked. Not at my clothes or my shoes or my lack of jewelry. At me. "What are you looking for today?" she asked. No assessment. No judgment. Just a simple question from one person to another. I bought 2 vehicles that afternoon. The midnight blue Explorer I'd wanted, and a reliable sedan for my assistant, Maria, who'd been taking 2 buses to work while putting herself through night school. The total came to $207,000. Patricia's hands shook when she processed the payment. She tried to hide it, but I saw. "This is the biggest sale I've made in 5 years," she whispered. Her eyes were wet. "Thank you." "No," I said. "Thank you for treating me like a human being." She smiled, confused but genuine. "Isn't that just basic decency?" "You'd think so," I replied. As I drove away in my new car, windows down, California sun warm on my face, I realized something. Brandon hadn't just lost a sale that day in the showroom. He'd lost the chance to be decent, to see past his assumptions, to recognize that worth isn't worn on the outside, and that, more than any commission or fleet purchase or viral video, was the real loss. Some people spend their whole lives never learning that lesson. I just made sure he'd never forget it. 3 months later, I stood at a podium in Chicago facing 800 people. The ballroom of the Palmer House was magnificent. Crystal chandeliers, gilded columns, the kind of old money elegance that made you whisper. But nobody was whispering now. The Financial Leadership Summit had invited me as their closing keynote. The topic: Value Beyond Appearance, Building Authentic Client Relationships in Luxury Markets. The irony was almost poetic. I wore a simple black dress, elegant but understated. No designer labels, no obvious wealth, just me. "I want to tell you about the day I learned what wealth really means," I began. The room went silent. I told them everything, walking into Premier Automotive Group with my savings and my dreams, Brandon's mocking voice, the $10 challenge, the humiliation, the choice I made to stay silent. "I could have pulled out my phone that day," I said. "Could have shown him my bank statements, my investment portfolio, proof that I was worthy of his time." I paused, letting that word hang in the air. But here's what I realized in that moment. I didn't owe him proof. I didn't owe him anything. 800 faces stared back at me, some nodding, some with tears in their eyes, some with that look of recognition that told me they'd been there too. Real wealth isn't about the numbers in your account. It's about how you treat people when there's nothing to gain from it, when they can't do anything for you, when they're just another human being standing in front of you, hoping for basic decency. I clicked to the next slide. Patricia's dealership, modest, honest, real. This woman made a fraction of what that luxury dealership manager made. She drove a 10-year-old truck. Her showroom had water stains on the ceiling, but she treated me with respect. She saw me as a person, not a transaction. The room was absolutely still. I've since referred 43 high-net-worth clients to her business. Her revenue has increased by 312%. She just hired her first employees, 2 of them. I clicked again. Premier's corporate statement: professional, apologetic, empty. Meanwhile, the dealership that humiliated me lost not just my business, but everyone in my network. Their reputation took a hit they're still recovering from. And Brandon? I let the pause stretch. Last I heard, he's working at a call center, making $11 an hour. The irony landed. I could see it ripple through the audience. I didn't destroy his career. His choices did. I just stopped being silent about them. After the speech, they came in waves. CEOs wanting to discuss cultural training, investors asking about my screening process, young professionals thanking me for saying what they'd been afraid to voice. But the ones who stayed with me were the young women, early 20s, starting their careers, wearing their best interview suits and carrying dreams too big for the rooms that kept dismissing them. One approached with shaking hands. "How did you stay so calm?" she asked. "When he was humiliating you in front of everyone." I looked at her, really looked, saw myself 10 years ago. "I stopped measuring my worth by other people's limited perception," I said. And I learned that the best revenge isn't loud or dramatic. It's living well, succeeding quietly, and letting your actions prove everything words never could. She nodded, tears spilling over. "Thank you," she whispered. 6 months later, a letter arrived at my office, handwritten, no return address. The handwriting was uncertain, shaky. "Ms. Morrison," it began. "You don't know me. I was the salesman that day at Premier. Rebecca, I should have said something, should have stood up for you, but I was too afraid of losing my job. I kept reading. After everything happened, after Brandon was fired, I couldn't stop thinking about it, about who I'd become by staying silent, by participating in that cruelty just to keep my paycheck. I quit 2 weeks later, my hands stilled on the paper. I'm working at a nonprofit now, helping people access financial literacy education. The pay is terrible, but I sleep at night. I just wanted you to know that what you did, the way you handled everything with dignity, it changed me. It showed me that character matters more than commission. Thank you, Rebecca. I read that letter 3 times. Then I folded it carefully and placed it in my desk drawer, next to Patricia's thank you card and the photo of Maria crying when I gave her the car keys. 1 year later, I drove past Premier Automotive Group. New sign out front, under new management, inclusivity and respect training certified. I didn't stop, didn't even slow down. I just kept driving in my midnight blue Explorer with the windows down and the radio up and the California sun painting everything gold. I never got Brandon's salary, never wanted it. What I got was something infinitely more valuable. The knowledge that my silence had been louder than any words, that my dignity had been unshakable, that treating people with respect isn't just morally right, it's the only sustainable way to build anything worth having. Some victories don't need celebration, they just need to be lived, and I was living mine every single day.